Welcome everyone to today's Travel Talk. I'm your host, Owen Schwartz with Jet Travel and Tours. Today we are thrilled to have a special guest with us, Roger Kraemer from CIE Tours. Roger brings a wealth of knowledge and insights to the fascinating world of travel, specifically focusing on the rich culture and stunning landscapes of Ireland. Today, Roger is going to share with us the Spirit of Ireland, which we will be participating in as a hosted group tour starting on April 25th. Welcome, Roger. It's an honor to have you here with us today, and welcome to Travel Talk.
Well, I'm glad to be here, and I'm excited about going through this itinerary. You have selected a great tour, and it does encompass a lot of the southern part of Ireland. And for those of you that haven't been there, this will be an exciting experience. And for some of you that have been there, it may bring back good memories. The one neat thing about this is that you're going at a great time of year. You're going in early spring of April. And so that will be fantastic. What I have done is put together a collage of pictures based on the itinerary. So that way you have an idea where you're going and what you're going to see. Because I always say a picture's worth 1,000 words. And I hope you'll agree with me. Just to give you a little background on CIE, we've been in business for over 90 years now, and our company focuses primarily on the destinations that you see there, but our beginning started in Ireland, and of course we're Irish owned. The government of Ireland, of course, CIE stands for Chorus Impa Airens, so it's easier to say CIE, but at the same time, they require us to put out quality programs. I'm going to show you a few pictures of the coaches, the hotels I will also include. We're staying in 4- and 5-star hotels. The itinerary is complete. And the one big thing that you've got to understand, everything that's in the itinerary is what you're going to get. We do not sell you options. Everything is included. So as we go, I will explain a lot of this for you. This is the type of coaches that, in fact, we just recently purchased 15 more coaches for this coming year, and they are more or less state-of-the-art. They've got Wi-Fi in them, as well as plugins for your telephones, your computers, your cameras. So those are all right in between the seats. They're very spacious, and you can see that they are the modern versions. Ireland itself, for those of you that have not been there, it's 150 miles wide by 300 miles north and south, but it is full of beauty, culture, history, and the fabulous people. Your flight's going to take you right into Dublin on the eastern side of the country. And in Dublin, you're going to be met as you arrive by our guide who will take you out to your coach. You'll take your suitcases along out to the coach. The driver will then take care of your suitcases from then on out. You'll take them to the hotel. The bellmans are going to pick them up, take them up to the outside of your room, and then you put them out the next morning. The bellman take it back down to the coach. And I have to add, there is no tipping of the bellman. It's all taken care of. I always like this particular bridge, if you will, over the Liffey River for the simple fact this is called the Henny Penny Bridge. And the reason why they call it that, it cost a penny to go across. I have to chuckle because in inflation as it is now, it's probably going to be $10. But the thing was, it was something very unique, and it is a very impressive bridge. You are going to be doing a tour of Dublin starting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And so we're going to be taking you around so you can see the sights. I apologize for my picture here. It's kind of uphill but I wanted to show you the differences in the windows, because as you go towards the top, the windows get smaller. The rich lived on the bottom, the poor lived on the top, primarily because there were no elevators in these buildings. But you can see even on this particular photo. a side story here, and I have a few, but I won't repeat them all. But in this case, you'll notice the doors are brightly painted. Back in the day, the Queen of England wanted all the doors to be painted black, which they were. But unfortunately, Murphy and Patty went out one night and sat around the pub, had probably a few too many pints. And when they came back home, they went through their black door, went up, got into their bed, and found out they were in their neighbor's apartment. So all the wives got together and decided we're going to have the doors repainted. And that's why you're going to see a lot of brightly covered. Now, this could be an Irish story, but there are plenty of them over there for that. The Liffey River actually divides Dublin right in half, and it is, and you'll have an opportunity to go on both sides, but you're going to have a chance to see a lot of Dublin. O'Connell Street is one of the busy shopping areas, along with Grafton Street, and you're going to have a chance to go up and down those by the driver as well as by you walking around later. The Epic Ireland is very impressive. It's the only digital museum in Europe that is like this. And what they've done is it's history on Irish people that came to the United States and other places, but it has a lot of history as to who they were, and you'd be surprised. There's roughly 40 million Irish descendants here in the United States. So you're going to find this very interesting. But as you can go through and see it, it is the state of the art. I like these people because they stand here and tell you their stories, and it is very unique. But the one I do want to point out is the one to the right, and it's Annie Moore. Annie Moore, if you went down into Cove, which is on the southern part of Ireland, this is where a lot of the immigrants left Ireland, a lot of them during the 1860s because of the Great Famine. But Annie Moore and her two brothers, and both of them right around 12 to 14. Andy and excuse me, not Andy, but Philip and Anthony is what I wanted to say, came over to the United States. You're going to see a statue down there that's pointing west. If you were to go to Ellis Island, you'd see the same statue pointing back towards the east. And they were the first immigrants to come through Ellis Island. She went on to move to Kansas, married an attorney, and her brothers went with her. But they got homesick, so they decided they want to go back to Ireland. And after being there for probably a year or two, they decided to go back to the States again with her sister. Unfortunately, they boarded the Titanic. But you're going to hear and see stories about all of this when you're there. And it is extremely interesting. Your hotel, the Ashling, it's a 4-star hotel. And if I was to turn around and look across the street, you would see Guinness and their big warehouse. What I like to do is I can't call it the yellow brick road, so we'll call it the red brick road, kind of give you a general idea where you're actually heading on your trip. And I want you to understand the roads don't go quite that straight. But you're going to see beauty. You saw the hustle and bustle of Dublin. Now you're getting into the outer country of Ireland. But you can see the shades of green. And they say Ireland is the 40 shades of green. It never rains there, so I don't know why they get green. But the first place you're going to visit is Glendalough Visitor Center. And what it is, Saint Kevin was the one that founded this. He lived in this, I guess it's a bronze tomb, if you want to call it that. But he lived in there for 7 years. He fasted. He ate on what he found. He slept on the ground, but his reputation really well exceeded. In fact, because of that, and I'm going to go back, I apologize, that he created a monastery. And saints and scholars came in from all over Europe to attend the services here or the school. And you'll see a lot of history here. But as you go around the buildings, you're going to also see a lot of the Celtic crosses. You're going to head south, as you saw on the map, and you're going to go to Wexford. And you're going to find a lot of the towns and cities are right along either rivers that lead out into the North Sea or the Atlantic Ocean. But there's only one, believe it or not, one town in all of Ireland, a major town that is not on the ocean or on a river, and that's Kilkenny. But while you're here in Wexford, you're going to have an opportunity to go to the Johnstown Castle. And what this is known for is this particular area is well known for its farming. You're going to find farming museums here. You're going to see various stories about it, but you're going to have also be able to go through the castle and see furniture of the time. And it is very unique, and it is beautiful. Your hotel in Wexford. And then from there, we're going to head south. If you remember me telling you, we're north of it, unfortunately, if you see at the bottom where Cork is, you're going to see Cove, C-O-B-N. And that's where the Titanic docked on that or on its ill-fated voyage. But you're going all the way over to Killarney. But before you do, again, you're going to go through Waterford. And of course, it's well known for its Waterford crystal. You have to understand, now this is a newer factory. Prior to the pandemic, and I would have to say 3 or 4 years prior to that, they closed the Waterford Crystal Company down. And what they were going to do was consolidate some of it into other areas, like whether it be Germany or the Philippines, to make the crystal, which they still do. However, it was felt that a lot of the tour companies did bypassed Waterford, even though there's a lot of history here, but the major reason why people wanted to go here was for the crystal. And so they reopened it in downtown. You're going to have a chance to go through here, and you're going to see how they literally carve it, blow it, create it, and it's absolutely exquisite. But what's neat about it is you have an opportunity. They have an exhibit area or a shop that you can also purchase Waterford crystal. Cork, you're getting again right along the southern part. Now this is a region. A lot of the people that left Ireland that I told you about at the Epic Center, they all came down to the Cork area because this is where they would catch the ships to either go to the United States, Australia, or up into Canada. Middleton, I love the towns. They're all quaint. They're just unique. I like the way they're painted. There's some neat shops in each one of these things, but the one that Middleton's known for is the Jameson's experience. And you'll have an opportunity to go through here and see, again, how Jameson is made. And you'll have an opportunity also to not only taste it, but you can also purchase some Jameson there. Of all the cities, I really enjoy Killarney. It's something about it. It is unique. There's a lot of stores, there's a lot of pubs, there's a lot of restaurants, there's a lot of activity. Now, if I don't tell you now, I'll tell you later, and that is, please go out to the pubs after you've had your dinner in your hotel. And in most cases, you're going to get full American breakfast every day, and you're going to get dinners at night. Some of them are special dinners where you go out for entertainment. But after dinner, go out to the pubs because that's where you're going to meet the people. And that's where you're going to have a lot of fun because they play music there. And if you don't like the music at one pub, then you go down to another one. but I'm telling you, it is where you're going to enjoy. I don't care if you drink Guinness or if you drink Coke, just go in and enjoy yourself. Your hotel, if I was to come out this front door and go left, you're right downtown. So you're centrally located. And then again, this is a 5-star hotel. Oh, you're heading out to the Ring of Kerry, and you've got to understand here, this is the furthest point of land in Europe to go into the Atlantic Ocean. But before you go out, you're going to do a horse-drawn jaunting cart through the national park. And I'm telling you, it is beautiful. But you're not only going to see lochs, you're going to see rivers, you'll see red-tailed deer. So it's quite a variety, and it's a beautiful ride. But you're going to end up out at the Ross Castle, and it has been said that he was the designer of Killarney. But you can also go inside the castle. And again, as I told you, there's plenty of lochs that go throughout this area, but it's beautiful. And then when you go to Kenmore, you're going to also then go to Moriarty's. Moriarty's, I know I can say it, has beautiful, beautiful wares between the knits, the cashmeres, the jewelry. It is an exquisite shop, and you will not be disappointed. But you're going to have an opportunity to shop a lot of places. And these are some of the areas that you're going to see when you go out to the Ring of Kerry. Now, if I didn't tell you earlier, I'm telling you now, and my kids get very upset when I say this, make sure you take plenty of film, because you're going to be taking pictures everywhere you go. And there's a picture, like I say, around every corner. And you can see the roads that lead out. It's usually a one-way road going out and another one coming back, because the roads in Ireland are narrow. But you can see the beauty. And you are now on the western side of Ireland, as I told you, that extends out into the Atlantic. Your evening will bring you back to Killarney. And usually you get, somebody's going to ask the length of the tours. The tours can start out at after breakfast, let's just say 8 o'clock, depending on how far you're going to go that day. And it's a law in Ireland that you can only be on a coach for 90 minutes before you have a break. However, we do photo ops, we have tea and scones, we have necessity stops. So you're not going to be on there from 8 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. Please believe me. And so you're going to be doing a lot of sightseeing, getting out, like I told you, the Ring of Kerry. You'll be doing a lot of stopping and taking photos. Usually you get back around 4, sometimes maybe even closer to 5, have time to clean up if you desire to then go have dinner. And then afterwards it's the pub hopping if you want to do that. But you are going to have lunch at this particular restaurant. We're heading north. And if I may, before I change this site, if you see Limerick there, just in front of the ship, if we didn't use this ferry to go across the Shannon River, your journey would take you out over to Limerick, then up to the Cliffs of Moher. That's an additional 2.5 hours. Whereas when you go through, and I love these little towns, you board the ferry. The ferry will then take 25 minutes to get across over to the other side of the Shannon River. And you can see up on the top the photos of the coaches and the cars that come on board. You can get out and walk up along the top there, and I recommend you do, because when I was there in October, I had the opportunity to see porpoises swimming next to the ship or the ferry. and you're heading over to the other side. When you get off, there are castles, and there are castles almost around every corner. And I just love the opportunity to take the photos of them. Some of these you can go into, some of them is just in ruins, but they still left the shell up. The Cliffs of Moher, they're 700 feet high, and you can see over to the top on the right, there's a walkway that goes out. And if you look at the very top, and I'll get a closer picture of that in a moment, of O'Brien's Tower. But you can see that it is all limestone. And you have an opportunity to take photos from both sides, whether you go up the walkway or walk over to this side that I'm on. But as you walk up, and you do see leprechauns occasionally around, so don't worry. But you can see the beauty of it all. I told you, and I did not tell you, Ireland is nothing but 40 shades of green. Oh, I did too. And it doesn't, and as I said, it doesn't rain there. However, up in this area in the barren country, it is so unique for the simple fact there's very little grass, because what happened was when the glaciers receded, they scraped the ground down to the bare, down to the limestone, and literally took all the grass and everything with them. But what you're seeing now over years, and I do mean a lot of years, grass is starting to grow in. The flowers that you're going to see in these particular areas are of a rare species, because they come in from the Antarctic, or they come out of the Mediterranean, or down in the Middle East. The birds bring them all up here. And so you don't see these flowers anywhere else but in this particular area. Galway, right on the bay, right on the Atlantic Ocean. And there are a lot of songs about Galway Bay, and it lives up to everything they say it is. It's just a unique town. Now, if you notice to the left, you're going to see a round circular above that red door. And what that is it's looks like the Collada ring. It's the heart, the crown, and the hands. And you're going to have a chance. In fact, what I'm going to do, remember the Collada ring, because your hotel is here. Yeah, the tour that I wanted to tell you about, you're going to go through Galway and have an opportunity to see a lot of the sights in Galway, but you're also going to see near the Spanish port, the village of Collada. And the Collada ring was actually, that's where it was made. And you're going to see the Collada ring all throughout Ireland. And usually when the heart faces outward, the young lady is available. When she becomes engaged, they turn it around, and when she's married, she has it on, that she wears it all the time, of course. But the thing is that it is very unique, and you'll see them in all the shops that you go to, along with Waterford Crystal and Guinness merchandise. So they're all available. You're heading out kind of northwest into Connemara, and I just love this area. I think Connemara has a unique sound to it, but you're also going to see a lot of beauty up in this area. But you're going to see peat, you're going to see mountain ranges, you'll see waterfalls, you'll see rivers all throughout this area, lochs. You'll be seeing islands on this particular loch. There's 365 little islands on this area, but it is absolutely exquisite. And if you don't see sheep, there's something wrong, because they're everywhere. But it is beautiful. Did I tell you to take plenty of film? Because you're definitely going to need it. Now, gentlemen, what this is actually a wedding gift to his wife. I don't know what you did, but I gave my wife slippers, so it really doesn't hold a candle to this castle. It is nestled right into a mountainside, and if you were to look up, it just goes straight up. But it is absolutely beautiful. Right now, it is being used by nuns, and they use it for a school. But at the time that the couple lived here, she was killed on a horseback accident about 10, 15 years after they moved in here. He then built a chapel for her in her honor. And he lived here for a short time after that. But then he ended up selling. And so you can see how beautiful it looks. But around it are beautiful grounds. And you're going to be there at a great time of year to see a lot of the beautiful flowers in the gardens. Believe it or not, along with the other unique attractions around here, this happens to be our number one. People just love to watch these sheepdogs gather the sheep. It is absolutely impressive. They start teaching these sheepdogs around 12 weeks old, and all the sheep herder, if you want to call him that, does is either snap his fingers, do a little whistle, or just say something, and they go out and gather these sheep up. It is so impressive. I do believe you'll like this. And we're back in Killarney. If you look, or Killarney, Galway, if you happen to look to the left there, you'll see that red building. It's the King's Head. A story I have about that particular pub is that there were four of us that went in there last spring and sitting listening to the music because the music was great. And behind us, there was about four or five gentlemen that were sitting there. They got up and they started doing like the Irish dance or the Irish jig. And but they didn't do that. They did another very unique dance, and we were all just so impressed. Well, when they came back and sat down, we asked them, "Do you dance professionally?" And they said, "Oh yeah, lad, we dance for river dance." You just don't know who you're going to run into in these pubs and who you're going to meet. Another story, because when I was there with my wife, not at this particular pub, but another one, I said, "We're going to do the pint test." And she just looked at me and shook her head. So we went in and I ordered a pint. Now she says, "Tell me about this pint test." I said, "Before I'm even halfway through, somebody's going to come up and start talking to us." So I was probably 2 sips into the beer, and this gentleman came up and said, "Oh, lad, where you be from?" And I told him I'm from, are you ready? Gesundheit, Illinois. And he looked at me and looked at me, and I got a healthy kick from my wife because she didn't kick in the leg because she didn't like that's what I did. So he was standing there, and all of a sudden he says, "Oh, you must know Patty. Patty and the family, they all moved to there. So you must know them." Well, my wife just started roaring because he got you. Well, before I could turn back and look, he was already sitting down. And he wanted to know more about why we're there, where we're from, what did we think of Ireland. And after 7 or 8 pints, we became the best of friends. The thing is he buys you a pint, you buy him a pint. So it's whoever runs out of money first, or maybe has too many pints before you give up. But it is a lot of fun. And we're heading across. Boy, that is one straight road, and I promise you it's not. But we're going to leave uh, Galway, and we're heading into where you're going to find Shannon's Bridge, which you are going to have an opportunity to take a catamaran around, and you're going to see this area from a catamaran on the Shannon River. But you're also going to have an opportunity to see this particular area. It's probably one of the biggest, and a lot of the saints and scholars would come here for education. But you're going to see they have 8 churches here. They've got a castle in the middle, and you're going to see the towers along with, and I'll show you a closer one in a minute, of the Celtic crosses. The monks were this particular area, because where it was located, was a haven for a lot of invasion, whether it be by the Vikings or anyone else. And they would come in and destroy everything. But the monks, over time after time after time, kept rebuilding it until in the middle of the 15th century, when the English came in, and they literally destroyed it, but they also removed all the windows, all the doors, all the books, so that way nothing could be rebuilt again. So what you're seeing is the skeleton of what was left. Kind of a noise. but you can see the Celtic crosses, and you can see the river in the background. But there's a lot of history here, and they do have a little museum that tells you all about the people that lived here. Heading back to Dublin, and there's that bridge again, the Henny Penny Bridge. But this evening, you're going to have an opportunity to go out for some entertainment. You'll have entertainment as you go all throughout Ireland, but here you're going to have dinner along with your entertainment and your hotel for the evening. You saw the beauty, you saw the culture, you saw the history. These are the people. This is what brings people back to Ireland, because when you get together with them, there's a story about anything and everything. The music is a lot of fun. I've actually added a couple of pictures of Scotland and Iceland. These are some of the people that are on our other tours, but to point it out is the one in the middle where the group is playing, and you're going to enjoy it. And now we're, as sad as I have to say, you're heading back to the States. Owen, did you have any thoughts?
I do. Thank you so much, Roger. This looks amazing. It looks like a very enchanting experience. As you said, the 40 Shades of Green in Ireland, and it sounds like we're going to be there at just the right time to really see all 40 shades as we go across the southern part of Ireland. And the itinerary, it looks like it's meticulously crafted or curated to see the most iconic sites in Ireland, which I know a lot of folks are really excited about. And through your pictures, I can just see how each town and each city offers its own unique slice of Irish life. And that'll be really exciting, as you kind of mentioned, that it's really the people of Ireland almost more than the sites that really just kind of make it a true experience that bring it fully to life. So I know we're really excited about that.
Oh, true. Yep.
I did have a couple of quick questions if you've got a few minutes to spare.
Yeah, please.
Oh, perfect. So there's a lot of really cool activities that are going on in this itinerary. Do guests have to pay extra for any of the tours that are included or any of the opportunities that they have while they're in Ireland as part of the CIE Spirit of Ireland tour?
No, and that's what I pointed out at the very beginning. No options. You're going into an attraction. You do not pay for anything. It's just that because of our I guess the Irish government that we're under, they require us to come out with a quality program that does not have the people pay for options. The big thing is to point out, and I guess I will here, you're going to get a full American Irish breakfast in the morning, you get dinners at night, and it can be a la carte. The place where we don't really include meals is at lunch. And if you have a group of 10, 15 people that get off a coach in a town at noon, you could be there for 2, maybe 3 hours ordering and getting your food. What we like to do is have you go out to a pub, get your fish and chips, or get your shepherd's pie, or go sightseeing, or go shopping, or do all three. But that's probably the only area. And any your incidentals that you would pay for would probably be at a pub. If you get a pint, or if you're going to get a pint of Coke just to listen, that part of it is up to you.
Wonderful. We love that inclusive pricing that CIE offers, with all the tours being part of that overall pricing. So that'll takes a lot of additional thoughts and decision making off the table.
Yep.
And then I think you mentioned that the coaches themselves have a place for folks to plug in their phones and charge them. Is that right?
Yes, yes, they do. It's above the seats, or it's right in between, but depending on which coach they get. But yes, it's available, and there's Wi-Fi on the coach as well.
Oh, fantastic. So folks can stay connected, recharge their phone between photo ops, and maybe even send some photos back to folks back at home.
You got it.
Nice. And then for our guests traveling as part of the tour, do they need to take their passports? Will they need a visa?
No, there's no visa required. It's just the passport. and they don't need them when they're out on tour. There is a safe in the room. They can lock them in there if they so desire, or carry them with them, but they will not need to show them except for when they arrive and when they depart.
Excellent. I know those safes will bring people a little bit more peace of mind, especially for the times that they are going to leave their passport in the safe in the room.
Yep.
Makes complete sense.
Yes.
And then thinking about getting ready to go, is there any, are there any items that are key to pack during this trip? Maybe shoes or clothing or anything else you can think of that would be a good thing to bring along?
Yeah, you hit on the first one right away, and that was the shoes. Make sure you have comfortable shoes. And don't buy them the day before and wear them on the trip. Make sure that they're broken, because you're going to do not a lot of walking, but you're going to walk, and you're going to be on cobblestone streets. You go into the castles. There may be steps getting into the castle. As far as clothes is concerned, it is not a casual or excuse me, it is not a formal country. It's casual, and so you're going to find that. I would do the layer look. You're there in April, which is going to be a great time. But at the same time, I would wear a windbreaker like what I do with a hood on it, just in case you do get a little moisture. But otherwise, you just shed it as you go during the day and leave it on the coach. One big factor that will be brought up at a later time is in your room, you're going to get the hair dryer, and you're also going to get all the teas and the shampoos and all that. But what we strongly recommend that you don't bring, and I know this is always a touchy subject, is a curling iron. The curling irons will overheat, and that'll cause, if you thought you had a bad hair day before, you'll definitely have one after you use it. So we recommend, if you really need a curling iron, you can buy them at your local, probably Best Buy stores, or any of your favorite stores that have them, and they can change the current on the curling iron. Or when you're over in Ireland, just ask the driver guide where I would go to a drugstore just to pick up a curling iron, and you can pick them up for 15 to 20 euro, if I'm not mistaken, and then just leave it there, because you will not use it back here. What we provide you with, and I'm jumping ahead here, Owen, is the fact that you're going to get a backpack, and that could be used for your carry-on, but inside that backpack, we're providing you with an adapter. You're going to find when you're in Ireland that the plugins are not, of course, not like ours. It's a 3-prong, but we provide you with that 3-prong that plug your regular one into. You don't need a transformer. At one time, you had to carry this big, heavy transformer to convert the electricity. But now, in this day and age, our computers, our phones, our cameras are all apt to convert over. So you just get an adapter, and we provide that for you.
Fabulous. I know that helps. Trying to figure out which country the adapters go to and everything. So being able to be provided with that will really help just keep everybody charged up.
Yeah, that was good. I like that. The adapter can be used all throughout Europe too, just to let you know.
Oh, that is good to know.
Yep.
That'll be nice for anyone who is planning on extending their tour beyond, or their time in Europe beyond the tour. I know that'll be helpful as well.
Yes, yes.
And then you mentioned that folks can ask their driver where they might be able to purchase a curling iron at a local store. So are the guides on the bus, are they locals?
Yeah, all our guides are local. In fact, in Ireland, for an example, they've been with, the majority of them have been with us for 18 to 20 years. But we only use guides, whether it be this in Ireland or in Britain or Italy or in Iceland that we do. They're all local guides. We don't bring in anyone else to lead the trips.
Excellent.
I mean, who better to know the country than the local?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
And I'm telling you, some of the Irish guys have kissed the Blarney Stone probably too many times, because they are full of Blarney. And what we find, and this is just a sidebar and it's a joke. The thing is that we lose a lot of our guides. They used to be with us for 25 or more years, but a lot of the ladies that come over, they like that accent. They like their sense of humor. They want to take them back as a souvenir instead of Waterford.
Oh, wow.
Hear me? That's a joke. That's a joke. But they become lifelong friends. You'd be surprised how many couples will come back and will communicate with the guide. And if the guide comes over to the United States, they invite them to their homes. It's just amazing.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
I mean, what a great opportunity with a tour to, like you said, make a lifelong friend and really, you go there partly for the culture and just to really meet the people and be a part of that culture. That sounds like a really neat opportunity, and also is quite a boon to the personability of your guides. They are very approachable and lively, and it sounds like they're also very personable too with our guests.
Yes, they are. They really are. May I add on, I forgot to mention when at the beginning of the presentation, there was the Epic Center telling about the Irish that came to the United States. If you have heritage and you want to find out more about possibly more about the history of your family, please do some research prior, because at the Epic Center, you're going to find a genealogist, and he will then, I don't want you to walk in and say, my name is Murphy, where am I from? Do a little homework first before you go there, because they will help you. So if you've got roots in Ireland, it may be to your advantage to talk to them.
Neat.
Yeah.
What an incredible opportunity for those folks that do have roots back in Ireland that are a part of this tour to just find out more about, their history individually.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Neat. And I just have one more question before I let you go. What should our guests do, or do you have any tips on how to make the most of this tour?
I emphasized it, but never can't say it loud enough. You're going to meet the people in their stores and walking around, but where you're really going to have a good time with meeting with these people is to take advantage of the pubs, because the pubs is where the people are that you're going to enjoy listening to the music. And again, if you don't like the pub that you're in at that moment, go down the street, because you're going to find another one. But the people are friendly. They love Americans, and they'll go out of their way to help you. Can I tell you a story?
Please do.
All right, I had a neighbor that went over there last fall, and his name was Flanagan. And he was going over to find heritage or roots. He wanted to find where his grandparents came from. So he had already done enough research that family members don't normally leave an area maybe 15, 20 miles. They all stay in this particular area. Well, he was told where to go in this road, and he had it all plotted out. And all he had to do was go down this road, because there wasn't many side roads, and take a right turn, and he'd find the farm. Well, he went down, and he and his wife went there, and they went up and they went down and they went up and they went down. And you're talking to probably 15 miles or so, and couldn't find this right turn. So, or left turn, depending on which direction they came. She said, finally, she got upset with him and said, stop at a store, stop at a gas station. I don't care, but find directions, see what they can say. He said, have you seen a store? Have you seen a gas station? There ain't any here. So as they were going down the road, all of a sudden they came over a hill, and there was this gentleman walking down the side of the road. And he said to me, this guy looked like he was out of Gulliver's Travel. He had a stick with a sack at the end. He had the hat, the coat, like a sport coat. I mean, this guy was right out of it. So she said, you're stopping and you're going to ask him. So they did. They pulled over, and they said, oh, by any chance, do you know where the Flanagans lived? He said, oh, yeah, lad. They just live down the road a piece, about just a few miles down. And he says, if you don't care, I'll get in the car with you and take you there. His wife said, please get in. So he got in. And so as they're driving down the road, that down the road a piece was anywhere about 8 to 10 miles, he said. We just kept going and going, and he talked and he talked. We get down to a small area. He says, slow down here. This is where the turn is. Well, there was no road there. It was a tractor trail, if you know what that is. The tractor that goes into the field wears down the grass, and that's all you could see. He said, you drive up over here. So he did. He said, now stop. And he said, now get out, and over there is the foundation to the house. And he says, oh my gosh. And I mean, he was just taking pictures with the film left and right. He just loved it. He says, oh, but wait, lad, take you out to the tree. And out by the tree, they found the headstones of his great great grandparents. And he says, you could still, he says, that was just heartbreaking for him. And so he's staying there taking pictures and so on. But then he said, the gentleman said, oh, I will leave you here. You just take your time. No, we'll take you to wherever you're going. He says, no. So 20 minutes, half hour later, they decided to leave, and they were going down the road. They never saw that guy again. And there's no way that he could have disappeared. There was no farms. There was nothing, no other roads, but he disappeared. And John said the hair on the back of his head stood up, because he says, I couldn't believe, where did this guy come from to take us to my grandparents? But these are the stories and stuff you're going to see and hear. It's just neat. It's just neat. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it and live the fullest, and go out and enjoy yourself.
Wow.
I could go on for hours talking about Ireland. Oh, there's a
that is such an incredible story.
Oh, that one I'll always remember, because it was the way he told me about it and the way he was reacting. Even his wife loosened up. She said she even had tears in her eyes, because we have no idea where he went. And he couldn't have gone that far in a half hour. So he's that leprechaun. Experience. Remember that leprechaun I told you about? They're all over the place.
Yeah.
Oh, they are. They are.
That's fantastic. A little bit of Irish magic to lead you back to your roots.
That's it. That's a good point. Good point.
This has been a really fantastic opportunity to spend some time with you, Roger, and to learn more about not only this tour, but Ireland in general. And I really appreciate you walking us through this and showcasing all the amazing things that we can do over there, and the amazing things we'll see, and some of the amazing experiences that maybe some of our guests will have for themselves.
And yes, and they're going to come back home with tales. They really are. And a lot of pictures. Take a lot of film. So they will enjoy it. They will enjoy as many times as I've been there. I'm always ready to go back again, because I see and learn and hear something new.
That is quite a testament.
All right.
Perfect. Well, thank you again, Roger, and thank you everyone for joining us today. And if you have any questions about our upcoming hosted group tour, please let us know at Jet Travel. Have a wonderful day.
Have a good one. Thank you.
All right.